It is finally here, people. Rejoice! After what feels like years of going through spy shots, combing through every little detail in those blurry photos, the KTM 1290 Super Adventure is officially here. Welcome back to Long Way Home, everyone. The place where getting your motorcycle news is easier than dropping your entire social security check on a new cruiser, but not by much. KTM say they have gone over the 1290 Super Adventure with a fine-tooth comb to improve it from almost every angle. But have they? Have they really? Out of the gate, this thing is 5 kilograms or 11 pounds heavier, not lighter than the outgoing model. So let's see what else the Austrians have been up to. Stick around. KTM has surely taken their sweet time to bring this new model to market. I mean, even back in 2019, we spotted an almost production-ready model being tested. But apparently, it was worth it, because the Austrians claim they have improved the Adventure flagship in all the right places. Starting off with the engine, on paper, it's exactly the same as the old model. Still 160 horsepower, still almost 140 Newton meters or 102 foot-pounds of fun torque, but under the covers, significant improvements have been made. Firstly, the cylinders have now been redesigned to provide better reliability. Not that KTM has had a problem with reliability in the past, but we'll take it. The engine casing is now thinner than before. This shaves off about 1.5 kilograms. The internal oil passages have been reworked. There's a brand new exhaust system with a massive end can. The clutch has also been updated, and so has the gearbox to provide smoother gear changes. Basically, KTM has worked to improve on pretty much all the important components when it comes to a motorcycle. The bike's frame has also been redesigned, and this also brings along some changes to the geometry. It remains a steel trellis frame. The steering head has been moved 15 millimeters to the back, and so the wheelbase is now actually shorter by about 2.5 centimeters. Not a huge amount, but the new bike should feel more agile at lower speeds while cornering, but a bit less stable, less planted down at highway speeds. The seat height is now also lower by about 1 centimeter, ranging from 850 to 870 millimeters. KTM has also reworked the fuel tank as well. It is now a 3-cell fuel tank. 2 cells low down on either side of the bike, just like on the 890 Adventure, and the 3rd cell higher up in the middle. This is actually great news, since because most of the fuel is now carried down lower, the center of gravity will also be lower, which definitely helps with handling in any ride situation. On top of the middle fuel tank sits a brand new airbox, which means the body panels have also been reworked, making the bike look more menacing, in my opinion, more modern with a touch of aggressiveness, like it means business. Moving over to the suspension, KTM hasn't cheaped out here at all. You get WP suspension, which is also semi-active. This means that the bike will control the suspension damping in real time using its own sensors and the throttle and brake input from the rider. If you've never ridden a bike with active suspension, I highly suggest you do that. The comfort level is just out of this world. The bike basically reacts to the terrain you're riding on, synchronizing the front and the rear so that you're always level, or at least that's what it tries to do, sticking within the boundaries of physics. You get 3 different levels of automatic damping: comfort, street and sport, with an additional 2, off-road and auto, unfortunately being optionals. I don't get why these need to be behind a paywall, especially the off-road one, considering that most of KTM's press photos of the 1290 are on off-road terrain, and also considering that they are just unlocking a software feature, it really costs them nothing. Now, when it comes to electronics, this bike is obviously packed with them. You get a brand new 7-inch TFT panel. This comes with phone connectivity, so all your music, phone calls, and even turn-by-turn navigation will go through it. KTM was even kind enough to design a little cubby hole with a USB port for charging your devices. The new TFT display is controlled by newly designed switchgear, which include a set of quick select and favorite buttons. Now, another big change to the 1290 Super Adventure for 2021, a feature which most of you didn't actually want, yes, I do read your comments, is adaptive cruise control. KTM has integrated a new Bosch radar unit to the front of the bike, which when cruise control is enabled will keep a certain distance from the vehicles in front. There are 5 distance settings that you can choose from, or you can leave the whole radar system turned off and just use the normal cruise control. This is now standard kit, so even if you don't want KTM's new shiny radar, you're still getting it. The sad part is that when KTM first announced they were working on adaptive cruise control, they also showed a blind spot monitoring system. Basically, small little lights in your mirrors that light up if there is a car in your blind spot. Now, I find this to be way more useful than radar cruise control, but unfortunately, it's nowhere to be seen on the 1290. Keyless ignition is also now standard, but KTM has taken it to the next level. It now comes with an ARA system, anti-relay attack, should theoretically protect you from those evil men that want to steal your baby and use high-tech gear to trick the bike into thinking the key fob is actually nearby. No blind spot monitoring, but at least your bike will be just a little bit safer. So as a little recap, reworked engine, gearbox, clutch, frame, semi-active suspension, a slew of new technology. This is not just a small yearly update. KTM has basically redesigned their flagship adventure bike from the ground up. It should now be more comfortable than ever, more agile, have more toys. Unfortunately, it is 5 kilograms fatter than before. But this is the S version. KTM hasn't said a peep about the R version, traditionally the more off-road oriented counterpart, and who knows, maybe that one's gonna be a bit lighter. I doubt it, but one can only hope. Pricing has been announced pretty much everywhere, and the good news is that the new 1290 is about half a grand cheaper than the outgoing model. The bad news is that in North America, the bike is not even on KTM's website, so no pricing yet, or it might not even make it over to the pond. Who knows? Nah, I'm sure you guys are fine. I'm sure you'll get it. In the meantime, why don't you jump down to the comment section below and let us all know how KTM surprised you with their new incarnation of the 1290 Super Adventure. What do you like about it? What don't you like about it? What do you think is just fluff? Let's get a real chat going on in there. Well, that's the show for today, everyone. If you've enjoyed it, give it a big thumbs up, and if you think you've learned something new, consider subscribing or becoming a patron to help us make more of these shows. Cheers, and I'll see you on the next one.